Whenever the Unlimited Hydroplane Racing production team is in Seattle, it always stays at the beautiful Edgewater Inn on the shores of Elliott Bay. The Blue Angels are a major part of hydroplane racing every year in Seattle. And while we're here, let's go overseas for another update on the Champ boats.
15 of the world's top tunnel boat drivers met to compete at one of the most unusual race courses on the world circuit. At 6,000 feet above sea level, the 1 2/3 mile course at Loch Val, South Africa poses some unique problems for the drivers and their engines. The high altitude causes a 20% drop in engine power, a problem never faced on other courses. The drivers were allowed 3 days, twice as much time as normally allowed for testing, to acquaint themselves with the site and to prepare for the unusual and difficult turns. The course has 4 turns in all, with the long right-handed one being the most difficult. As the boat approaches this turn, it pushes against the normal force of gravity. This causes enormous physical strain on the driver. Because of the reduction in engine power, the boats tend to bounce on the waves rather than skim over them. Each driver wears a back support to cushion his head and neck from rocking around inside the cockpit. Skillful drivers from all over the world came to challenge this demanding course. The United States fielded several drivers, among them 33-year-old John Nichols. John is third in World Championship points, and his Mercury-powered hull did well in testing. Germany was well represented by 39-year-old ex-world champion Michael Werner. Great Britain had the most drivers represented, including current British champ Steve Curtin. And Tony Williams, former world champion who turned in an excellent practice time, and the man to watch, his fellow countryman, Mark Wilson. But the excitement of the day was generated mostly by this man, 51-year-old John Hill, Britain's world racing champion. As Heat 1 began, Hill sprang into the lead, with the other boats struggling behind. John Nichols of the U.S. and Michael Werner put on quite a show in their battle for second place. At one point, Nichols was forced into the reeds at the right-hand turn, but managed to maintain his heat position.
There is John Nichols. Nichols is being forced close into that right-hand turn by Michael Werner. And Nichols has gone straight through the corner, through the weeds. He's come out of it. This is incredible. He's come out of the other side, covered in rushes. And he's still maintained his third position.
John Hill once again held pole position at the start of Heat 2, but this time Mark Wilson jumped into the lead and held it as Hill, refusing to give up, pushed his boat to the limit, bouncing around on the unstable water. As the boats lined up for the final heat, it was anybody's match. The chief mechanic of each team, trying to gain maximum acceleration on takeoff, lifted his boat engine so the prop was just below the surface of the water. Wilson again took the lead, but Hill, showing the stuff of which champions are made, pushed his way through the pack and relentlessly challenged Williams for second place. At the end, using a third driver for a foil, Hill passed Williams to take second in the heat and total points overall. The final standings reflected Hill's determination, with Wilson taking second and John Nichols making an excellent showing in third.
Back here in Seattle, the field is now set for the APBA Budweiser Gold Cup Final. The Miller American, the Squire Shop Britannia, the Miss Budweiser, the Miss 7-Eleven, Executone Telephones, and Cellular One. The final coming up. A rub down, boss?
What's that?
Getting a rub down?
Yeah, I got the best kind of world for it, the world 250 motocross champion. So if anybody knows about being tense, I guess he does.
I would imagine the adrenaline's flowing right now. A chance to set some history, Chip.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And I just want to, go do my best and live with the result.
But knowing you, you're probably applying more pressure on yourself than the pressure that exists.
Yeah, well, I put a lot of pressure on myself, but this time there has been some pressure. There's been, so much attention and everything. But I feel ready. I just got to do my best. And
I know you want to be alone, so I'll let you go.
Thanks, Tom.
And over at the 7-Eleven camp, the L11, the 4,000 horsepower engine affectionately known as Big Wally, going into the 7-Eleven boat. What about Steve Reynolds? How does he feel about the final? You know what the Gold Cup means to you. We all know what it means. I would imagine the adrenaline is a little extra right now.
I'm surprising myself. I'm really remarkably calm. I think the crew is using up all the adrenaline we've got. The guys have worked awful hard today. Win, lose, or draw, it's a credit to the 7-Eleven crew.
At the Squire Shop camp, where they have earned 1,000 points today already, they're installing extra nitrous bottles for better acceleration for driver Tommy Deeth.
I mean, you've won a Gold Cup before. You know how special it is. A little extra adrenaline for this final heat for a Gold Cup.
Well, a little extra mental preparation, that's for sure. We've got, with the Miller American and the 711, the 2 rocket ships out there, I've got to do something to outfox them. I'm going to try and suck them up in the hole there and then leave them hanging out to dry and go for it.
So after a long day of racing, it comes down to these 6 men. Todd Yarling in the Cellular One, finished in 3rd place 1 week ago. Scotty Pierce and Executone Telephones, a great comeback in Heat 3A, winning it, enabling him to move into the final. Steve Reynolds, he has not raced since the first flight, but he got enough points after taking 2nd in Heat 3B. Jim Kropfeld of the Miss Budweiser, moving into the final with better than 600 points. Tom Deeth in the Squire Shop Britannia, a 2nd in the Columbia Cup last week, hopes to do better this time. And finally, Chip Hanauer, the man trying to make history in this final. Points mean nothing now as the boats head down the main straightaway for the start of the final, the 77th running of the Gold Cup. We're under 5 seconds for the start. The 711, the Budweiser, Executone, all 3 together at the start. On the way outside is the Miller American. Chip Hanauer trying to make some history, trying to be the first man in modern history to win 4 straight Gold Cups. But right now in lane number 1 is the 711, in lane number 2, the Budweiser. Lane 3, Executone Telephones. This is Steve Reynolds going into the entrance buoy. Heading into that south turn, he has first place. Let's see if he can hold on to it now as he goes into the back chute. Reynolds and the 711 holding on to first. Steve Reynolds trying to run away from the Miller American, and Chip Hanauer. He now has the larger engine in there. There's Hanauer on his outside shoulder. It's the 2 turbines, the 711 against the Miller going into the north turn. Steve Reynolds trying to break that string set by Chip Hanauer, who has already won 3 straight Gold Cups, winning last year in the Tri-Cities area. Chip Hanauer coming around the 711 is going dead in the water. Steve Reynolds' day is over in the north turn. Mechanical problems for the 711. What a heartbreak for Steve Woomer, the owner, Steve Reynolds, the driver. The Budweiser and Jim Kropfeld is also coming to rest in the back chute here in Seattle. The attrition rate going sky high suddenly here in the final. So now, Chip Hanauer, with his destiny really in his own hands in first place. Executone Telephones in 2nd place in the final for the Budweiser Gold Cup. 3rd place belongs to Todd Yarling in the Cellular One. Chip Hanauer now going down the back chute. As you see Steve Reynolds walking along the deck of the 711 in the foreground. He is finished. He'll have to watch the rest of the race from the north turn. Executone Telephone with Scotty Pierce in 2nd place. But Hanauer, who ran the first lap at 127 miles per hour, is now on his 2nd. The 711 crew, oh, they've got to be disappointed. Nancy Sadam, the wife of the owner of the Cellular One, cheering on Todd Yarling. There's their boat, currently in 3rd place. What a great finish that would be for that boat. The engine inside that boat right now, affectionately called Edna. Reliable Edna. But in first place with that Lycoming 11 engine, 4,000 horsepower in a very, very light boat, a light engine. The Miller American, Chip Hanauer, who grew up here near Lake Washington, would love to win in Seattle, as well as set history winning his 4th straight Gold Cup. In 2nd place, Executone Telephone, Cellular One. Todd Yarling in 3rd place. It would be like a victory to Cellular One if they could get a 3rd here in the prestigious Gold Cup. But Chip Hanauer, you heard the story. He began racing back when he was 12 years old, as you see the cool ones being set out for the anticipated celebration for the Miller American if they should win the Gold Cup here in Seattle. But Chip began racing as a youngster in the J-Class outboard hydros, taking 5th nationally in his first year of competition. He's been inducted into the APBA Hall of Champions, that taking place back in 1983. Chip Hanauer really becoming one of the main figures of unlimited hydroplane racing. Chip Hanauer about to set history, about to put his name in the record books, the Miller American winning the 1985 Gold Cup. Chip Hanauer, a winner in Seattle. So Miller American, look at the numbers. 4 starts, 4 first-place finishes. On the other hand, 3 boats failed to finish. The 711, the Squire Shop Britannia, and the Budweiser. On to the winner's circle and Chip Hanauer.
Modern history, my man. You did it. Congratulations, Chip.
I can't describe it. I thought we were going to have a really good boat race, and then I think they broke a coupler or something again. And
how does it feel, though? You're on the same plane with people like, gosh, above Garwood, practically.
I don't feel like that. I'm just glad it's over. It's been a real hard year, you know, knowing this was coming up, and there's so much pressure. I'd like to say hello to my grandmother and everybody at the Madison House, and my father and my brother who helped me get here. And there's so many people that let me do this that I'm really undeserving, and I just feel really privileged.
Don't worry. For the folks at home, that's victory number 17 for you. We're going to get it right this week. You did it. Congratulations again.
Thank you. These guys did it. It was the best piece out there, and there's no doubt about it.
Nice going.
Thanks.
Overtaken Executone for national points, but Chip Hanauer also set a Gold Cup record average speed for the day, 120.7 miles per hour, breaking the old record by almost 8 miles per hour. You see the rest of the boats along the points race. Moving to the second five, Cellular One, Squire Britannia, Miss Rock, Kenny Toyota, and Domino's Pizza.
So the 1985 APBA Budweiser Gold Cup is history, and history indeed has been made by Chip Hanauer winning 4 straight.
And I think what's more important is the fact that the Turbans have now said, hey, we're here to stay. The others better catch up or get out.
Absolutely. We should mention that Chip not only won the money and won the beautiful Gold Cup, but he also won a $5,000 Citizens Gold watch. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, and I collect watches. I'd love to have it. I'll make a deal with Chip.
As far as the circuit in 1985, we have a couple of weeks off, and then we move to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. First time we've been there.
Yes, and we'll have more on ESPN at that time.
Okay, for Jim Hendrick, I'm Don Poyer. Thanks for joining us, and so long from Seattle.
Air transportation provided by Continental Airlines, the official carriers of unlimited hydroplane racing. A promotional fee has been paid by Hertz Penske Truck Rentals. Scuba diving equipment is provided by Nemrod, the official suppliers of the Unlimited Racing Commission. The Budweiser APBA Gold Cup Unlimited Hydroplane Race has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. And by the new Napa Advantage muffler. It puts rust at a disadvantage. Keep up to date with the unlimited hydroplanes by calling the Hydro Hotline at 1-900-410-5500. If you'd like a VHS video cassette of this program, send a check or money order for $19.95 to the Unlimited Racing Commission, 901 Occidental South, Seattle, Washington, 98134.